Imagine this, a dazzling studio filled with golden lights, cameras spinning, and the hum of anticipation echoing through the crowd. In the center sits Chris Martin, the soul of Coldplay, ready to share something no one saw coming. Not a new song, not a tour, but a list his personal heartfelt ranking of BTS members based purely on kindness. The energy shifts, fans hold their breath. This isn't about fame or popularity, it's about who they are when the cameras stop rolling. Who comforts, who listens, who gives without asking for anything back. And as Chris begins, laughter mixes with awe, because this list reveals the heart behind the global phenomenon called BTS. Let's dive into the warmth, the laughter, and the quiet love behind Chris Martin rates BTS members based on kindness. You won't believe where Jin is ranked. Number 7, the quiet soul, but never forgotten. When Chris Martin revealed his 7th pick, fans leaned forward expecting a bold choice, maybe even controversy. Instead, what came was calm sincerity. "He's not less kind," Chris said thoughtfully. "He's just quiet, like a river that flows without noise." He was talking about Suga, BTS's introspective producer and rapper. To the world, Suga is all about music, beats, and stoic charm. But Chris saw the subtle goodness that often hides behind silence. During the My Universe collaboration, Suga barely spoke, yet he noticed everything. He ensured the staff had water, thanked the lighting team, and gave a reassuring nod to anyone who looked nervous. "He reminded me that kindness doesn't always shout," Chris said. "Sometimes, it just exists steady, gentle, constant." When everyone celebrated loudly after the final take, Suga smiled quietly from the back, eyes glimmering with pride. It was the smile of someone who cared more about others' joy than his own spotlight. That's why, to Chris, Suga's kindness wasn't small, it was rare. Number 6. The energy that lights up the room. Number 6 belongs to a man who radiates sunshine. J-Hope. "He's pure sunlight," Chris Martin said with a laugh. "The kind that walks into a cold studio and suddenly everything feels alive." Chris remembered how, during My Universe, J-Hope hugged everyone, translators, camera operators, even the delivery guy bringing coffee. It wasn't for show, it was instinct. "He doesn't force happiness," Chris noted. "He is happiness." Behind the laughter, though, there's depth. Chris noticed how J-Hope checked on every member, sensing when someone was stressed. "He reminds me of a teacher who sees who needs help without being asked." On the final recording day, when everyone was tired, J-Hope jumped in the booth and cheered the crew. "Let's do this with love." His optimism filled the room like music itself. Chris later said, "He makes kindness feel easy like breathing." That's why, even though J-Hope isn't number 1, his light is irreplaceable. Because in every great moment of collaboration, there's always one person who makes others believe again, and that's J-Hope. Number 5. The leader, with a gentle core. At number 5, Chris mentioned a man he deeply respects, RM, the mind and heart of BTS. "He's the kind of leader who carries everyone's burden," Chris said, "but still finds time to ask if you've eaten." During My Universe, Chris saw firsthand how RM managed chaos, translation issues, timing, arrangements, yet still cared about everyone around him. "He reminded me to drink water between takes," Chris chuckled. RM's kindness isn't loud or overly sweet, it's measured, thoughtful, and deeply aware. Kindness is awareness, Chris reflected. And RM is one of the most aware people I've ever met. He reads the room before speaking, apologizes for things that aren't even his fault, and makes sure no one feels left out. Even when exhaustion set in, RM kept smiling, grounding the entire team. "He's the kind of person who doesn't need to talk about kindness," Chris said, "because he lives it every day." For Chris, RM represents leadership with empathy, proof that true power doesn't come from control, but from care. Number 4. The angel with the healing voice. When Chris mentioned Jimin, the entire atmosphere softened. "There's something angelic about him," Chris said with quiet admiration. "He doesn't just sing beautifully, he feels everything he does." During the recording sessions, Jimin would bow to every staff member, thank every sound engineer, and even bring snacks for those who skipped meals. Chris vividly recalled one morning when Jimin came early to arrange breakfast for the crew. He said it was nothing, Chris smiled, but it meant everything. His compassion wasn't calculated, it was natural. Jimin's kindness extends beyond the studio. He remembers birthdays, sends messages when someone's unwell, and always notices when a person feels down. His empathy is almost supernatural, Chris said. If kindness had a melody, it would sound like his voice. When Jimin sang his part, everyone stopped. It wasn't just about hitting notes, it was about emotion. You could feel his soul in every word. Chris admitted, "He reminded me that music isn't about perfection, it's about love." Number 3. The unexpected gentleman. Chris smiled warmly when he reached number 3 Jungkook. He surprised me, he confessed. I expected confidence and skill, but what I found was humility. Known as the Golden Maknae, Jungkook carries immense talent, yet Chris discovered his heart was even bigger. He brought water for the crew. No cameras, no instructions, just pure kindness, Chris recalled. Jungkook's charm lies not only in his voice or stage presence, but in the small, quiet moments when no one's watching. He remembered every person's name, even mine. That's rare, Chris said. Beyond his professionalism, Jungkook radiates gratitude. He listens attentively, praises others more than himself, and often insists on helping staff with equipment. That kind of sincerity, Chris reflected, can't be taught. During the last day of filming, Jungkook bowed deeply to every person in the room, whispering thank you in English. It wasn't about formality, it was about respect. He reminded me, Chris said softly, that the youngest can sometimes have the oldest soul. Number 2, the poet with kind eyes. At number 2, the name V, Taehyung, filled the studio with soft awe. He has an old soul kindness, Chris said. The way he listens makes you feel like the only person in the world. Taehyung's warmth isn't loud or performative, it's felt, deep and unspoken. Chris recalled a late-night moment during recording when the crew looked exhausted. V quietly disappeared, then returned with hot drinks for everyone. He didn't announce it, he just placed them down, smiled, and went back to work, Chris said. That small gesture changed the atmosphere completely. His kindness feels timeless, like he's from another era, Chris continued. He makes you remember what humanity is supposed to feel like. With his soulful eyes and calm presence, V embodies empathy, the kind that doesn't need words. He's like a painting, Chris said. Beautiful on the surface, but full of warmth beneath. To Chris, V's kindness connects hearts beyond language or fame. He reminded me, Chris said quietly, why we make music to heal. Number 1, the gentleman king of kindness, Jin. And finally, the top of the list. Chris Martin's voice grew soft but firm. He's the kindest man I've ever met. The name Jin echoed like a warm chord across the room. He looks at you like you matter, Chris said. Their first meeting left a lasting mark. Jin arrived with gifts for everyone, from producers to interns. He personally thanked every crew member, even remembered my son's name. Chris smiled. I thought, wow, this guy's heart is gold. Jin's kindness isn't showy, it's consistent. He listens, encourages, and never lets anyone feel small. Chris remembered how Jin made jokes to ease tension before recording. He has this ability to make heavy rooms feel light, he said. Even after hours of filming, Jin stayed behind to help clean up. He didn't have to, but he did. For Chris, Jin's kindness redefines celebrity. He's not pretending to be kind, he is kindness. And with that, Chris ended with one unforgettable line. If humanity had a face, it would look like Jin's smile.